everybody, welcome to Geekoholics Anonymous, episode 172. I'm your host, Rico, here with my co-host,
Dane Cody,
which I can actually see on my screen.
Yeah, we're trying something a little different. We're adding video to our lives.
Well, you guys can't see it, but we can see it.
Yeah, that's what we meant.
I don't know if it'll have any effect on the podcast, but this one guy was all complaining and shit, and he's like...
He thought it would be nice because he said we had a better podcast when we were both in the same room, so...
Yeah, I could see that.
We're trying to work that somehow.
One day we'll figure out how to actually record it.
Live on Twitch, and then we can have other people.
That'd be a plan.
Hanging out.
You got to clean your room. You got to clean up your room, though.
Hey, don't judge me.
Actually, it's not that bad.
I have a very small apartment. Okay.
The air mattress just looks funny.
Yes, it does. There is an air mattress in the background.
You should have like videos like playing on the TV in the background, but then I might get distracted. Actually, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put something green back there, and I'll just have one little green screen area in the back,
so people could put anything there they wanted.
There you go.
I've actually thought about that in my office for like if I wanted to do video reviews, have my TV with just a flat green screen behind me.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I could put whatever I'm talking about on the TV behind me.
Boom.
But
Boom.
Yeah, that would take effort.
Be like pop-up video.
That would take me being a YouTuber and making videos.
It is what it is, right?
If you haven't been here before, we get together once a week. Talk about video games, TV, and movies, and or whatever the hell we like. We're back from PAX.
That we are.
A little more energetic this round, this episode, I think. We were a little tired.
Just a little.
Open bar hangover.
Oh.
That was great.
Yeah, it's awesome. Just a little rough the next day, that's all.
Yeah, that was
But hey,
good time.
we got that episode out. That's what matters.
It was awesome.
We got those hot takes to the people.
So we have a lot more games that we played at PAX. Not a lot of news.
This is kind of like part 2 of our PAX extravaganza.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's also our... I can talk about freaking Spider-Man now.
Yay!
Actually, speaking of Spider-Man, I wrote a review to Spider-Man.
I know, I saw that and I was pretty fucking surprised. I was like, holy shit, Rick must have got real bored on the ferry.
That's where I started the review. I honestly did start writing it there. I didn't finish it till the next day, but I got some of the bones set up there.
Yeah.
I just felt compelled. I really wanted to make a video, which I still think I might do.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm going to have time. I feel like if I don't get it done tomorrow before the game releases, I feel like there's not a lot of point.
Yeah, that's hard. I get that.
But, yeah, I wrote a review. I gave Spider-Man 10 out of 10.
I saw that. It's a pretty good review, actually.
Originally, I gave it 9 out of 10.
I also noticed you changed it. What changed your mind? So, like,
when I reread my review and realized how much fun I had with it, minus the little quirks and negative things, like, there are some issues. It's not a perfect game.
Right.
But it's a fun-ass game.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I had a lot of fun playing it. I was smiling the majority of the time playing it, and very few games ever do that.
It's a good-ass game, man.
Yeah, you got to play a few hours of it in the hotel.
Yeah, I played the starting few hours.
Yeah, the intro and then a little bit.
And, like, from what I've played of it, I'm like, shit, yeah. This is my game.
So, yeah, like, I'm like, yeah, this is a really good game. And then I wrote my review, and then I reread my review, and I'm like, dude, this sounds like a 10, what I wrote down here.
Right.
This doesn't sound like a 9, because I don't say anything negative.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, there are some, I don't know, you can say some of the side crime stuff might get repetitive.
Right.
Or there's only so many side activities, but that's like any open world game, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's I feel like the side stuff, though, is just that, right? It's side stuff.
Yeah,
it's up to you.
You don't
to
even
decide.
have to do it.
Right, exactly. It's like up to you to decide, like, do I want to go do this stuff, or do we just want to carry on with the story and not really worry about it? I feel like by having a ton of that stuff in there, it's kind of up to the player, like how much replay, how much play they want to have from the game. If you want to go do everything, then there's going to be a ton of it. And if you don't want to, then you don't have to. And they've probably got a fairly meaty game in there regardless, right?
Yeah, which they absolutely do.
Yeah.
It, like I said in my review, probably took me about 25 hours plus or minus.
Right.
It could have been higher. I don't know. I played it straight for a week, about 3 to 5 hours a night every night. Like I really OD'd on it. It took me about a week of good dad family playing sessions. Sneaking away at night.
Right.
So that's where I got my number. Unfortunately, the save file doesn't tell you.
I really hate that actually when they don't add your playtime in there. It's nice to know because it kind of gives you that baseline, like, okay, I've played it for this many hours.
Yeah.
And at least it can kind of gauge, like, hey, I played it for 80 hours. Oh, you played it for 70 hours. Like, oh, you're probably getting close-ish. It's at least, yeah. It's a good barometer at least.
Yeah, it is annoying because I know with, like, Witcher 3, for example.
Yeah.
I think Steam says I played it for 80 hours.
Right.
And I know I played it for more than that. But there's the save file doesn't reflect how long I played it for.
See, and like I've played it entirely on GOG, and so like that is keeping track fairly well, and I'm at 48 or 49 hours now. So I mean, and I know that it's pretty good about that. So
yeah. I know my time isn't right, but anyway, Spider-Man doesn't have it. Read the review. bit.ly/SpideyPS4 review. This is the short link.
Look at you go.
Or you can just go to Geekoholics.com. It'll be the first thing there.
Yeah.
Maybe the second by the time, if you've listened to this podcast, and it might be bumped down a story.
Fair enough.
But I go into the combat. Oh, right off the top, spoiler-free review.
Excellent.
Like I talk about some of the systems and mechanics.
Yeah.
But if you consider that a spoiler, I think you've got problems.
I gotta say, the feel of that game, like just the way you move, the swinging is fucking spot on.
Yeah.
Like it's like the first time you played Batman Arkham Asylum. It is the closest you've ever felt to being Spider-Man, and they fucking nail it.
Yeah,
like they just kill it.
You're Spider-Man. It feels good to swing around the city. It feels amazing launching off of objects in the building. The fighting has so much depth to it, from ground combat to aerial combat to counters.
Surprisingly deep. I was pretty amazed actually at how deep the combat was.
And when you played it early in the game, you haven't even unlocked anything yet. You're missing so many attacks that I could do in my playthrough.
Oh, for sure.
And variations. And then you got the takedowns, the super moves, the mods, the suits. Like, it's
incredibly deep.
There's reward for doing, like, in most open world games, you do side stuff just to check off the side stuff.
Yeah.
In Spider-Man, you get tokens from doing side stuff. And you use the tokens to unlock your gadgets.
Right.
You use the tokens to upgrade your gadgets. You use the tokens to unlock suits. You use them to upgrade powers, as well as your leveling. There's a whole RPG leveling skill tree system as well.
Right. 3
different trees. By the end of the game, I don't know. For me, at the end of the game, I was max level.
Yeah.
So I had all the skills unlocked, so you don't have to worry about that. There's a max level of 50.
Okay.
And you can actually keep getting levels, kind of like prestige levels.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what you get for it after you roll it. Like, say, level 51, for example.
Yeah.
I can't remember what you get for doing that. But it tells you when you do it. I can't remember if you get more life or more... I don't know. You get something for it.
Okay, fair enough. So at least there is like a little incentive.
Yeah, so you still get something for leveling beyond the 50, though the number doesn't go up.
Right. That's cool.
The graphics are amazing.
Oh my gosh. like honestly that's a game that made me kind of go, do we need another generation right now? Do we need a PS5? like it looks incredible. It really
we were just
does.
playing it. We were playing at 1080p on a crappy hotel TV.
Right. We were playing it on a Pro. I mean, you're Pro, so
we were playing on a Pro, so it would have had better frame rate and effects and lighting, I would assume. Mm-hmm. So, but man,
it's a beautiful game.
HDR on that game. Oh, I've turned it off, and I'm like, oh, this looks terrible. And then it's like I can't play with it off.
Wow.
Because it just looks, the lighting just looks so fantastic. The city's amazing. You got all the landmarks. You got the landmass of Manhattan. That's the whole game. So if you've ever been to New York, it's even cooler because it's like, this is where this is. Yep, there it is. Oh, there's Rockefeller. You know, there's where the ice rink is. There's Central Park. You name it. The landmarks are all there.
The thing that I really thought was cool too was like, you're not invincible. Like, you're a badass, obviously, but the combat, they do a good job of making it so that you have to learn how to play it. You have to learn the combat, because like you're gonna get shot, and you're actually gonna die fairly easily if you're not careful, and that's it. Like I mean, similar in a way to the Batman games where you're not invincible either. But I just thought they did a good job of that. Like, but you're so much faster, and like you have all these move sets, and you're slipping and sliding, and like it just feels so good.
They, like you're saying,
that's all I can think about.
They don't want
we
you
went to PAX. We played a lot of cool shit, and all I want to actually play is Spider-Man. So there's that.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
So graphics are amazing. The story, the voice acting, the characters, the guy who portrays Peter Parker
does a good job. Yeah,
fantastic. Yuri Lowenthal is his name. He does a bunch of voices apparently in other games and actually like cartoons and stuff.
Awesome.
So he seems to be primarily a voice actor.
Right.
He does a fantastic Peter Parker Spider-Man. The humor's like,
oh man, the humor is spot on.
I don't read the comics, so like you do. So
yeah, no, he honestly, like the little quips and the humor and it just, all of it. I don't remember how many times I was playing. I was just like, oh yes, it just feels so good. Oh, that joke was spot on. Spider Cop forever. Spider Cop forever. Yeah, no, honestly, just go buy that game. Like if you own a PS4, you need to own Spider-Man. You need to own God of War, and you need to own Spider-Man.
Unless you hate superheroes and you hate fun and you hate Spider-Man, then
clearly you shouldn't be buying it. But then again, maybe this one will change your mind. I mean, it plays really good.
You probably don't like video games at that point either.
Oh, probably not.
And you might not have much of an imagination if you don't like any of those things. But it's a definite recommended buy. Yeah. I gave it 10 out of 10. Like I said, I started at a 9, and then I went and reread my review, and then before I posted it, I creeped up to a 9.5, and then when I was finally done, I'm like, you know what? I had so much fun with this game, minus its flaws, that it's a 10. Like,
yeah,
it's not perfect, but it's just so freaking fun, and it's all I want to do is play it.
Yeah.
I think it sucks is I got some more new games now, and it's like, oh, but I want to play Spider-Man.
You've beaten it though, at least, so you put your time in.
Beat it, but I feel bad now because I see people posting who got it earlier who are like, I platinumed it, and I'm like, I hate you. Because I haven't had time to platinum it, because after I beat it, I've barely played any video games, and then we went to PAX.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But yeah, if you want to read more, check out my review. Mm-hmm. Share it, tweet it, like it, whatever. I don't know. I've got a lot of people have seen it. Everyone says they like it. I don't know if it's any good or not. I haven't written a review in so long, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I think the last review I wrote was actually for hardware, so I think it was for a mouse. So,
but I enjoyed it so much I felt compelled to do it.
Hey, I feel like there's a tweet there somewhere. Like, I felt this game was so good it made me write a review. Something like that. I don't know. Anyways,
I did put that in the in the review itself.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
I want to say that, at least for me, outside of PAX games, that's the only game that I've played that I'm allowed to talk about right now. So,
can you even say we have the other one?
I don't know. I'm not going to risk it right now. So,
okay.
Yeah.
We both were lucky enough to get a copy of probably one of the bigger games coming up this month. So, you could probably figure it out.
Probably.
What else? Yeah. I guess that's it for what we've been playing. The rest now is we're back into our PAX Extravaganza Part 2.
Heck yeah.
This would be like basically days 3 and 4.
Yeah, this would be Sunday, Monday.
Monday.
Yeah. We didn't put in a full day on Monday just because we both have a drive ahead of us and you have a ferry ahead of you. So the idea was to try and get some stuff in the morning and then get home before the border got crazy.
We had seen most stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the only things I feel like we missed, which you may have missed, but I didn't miss because I played them all at E3, was like Horizon 4. That's kind of a known quantity.
Yeah.
I played it at E3.
They did have it there. I did not play it.
Division 2 and Assassin's Creed at Ubisoft. Unfortunately, this year they weren't doing appointments.
Yeah.
And
our media hour got cut short. So
yeah, and we were hoping to get over there to play some Division 2, but
just didn't work out.
Did we talk about that last podcast? Maybe it's a little entitled and sounds like bitching, so maybe we don't really need to, but...
Yeah, we did touch upon it and explained what happened to our media half hour.
Which is kind of lame. So our plan was to go to Ubisoft and check out that stuff. But again, I did play all that, like Starlink and all that stuff, and I talked about it in our E3 shows.
Yeah.
So it would have been nice for you to check out Division, but that's still... We're going to get a beta before it comes out, and that's way in March.
Oh, yeah. It's 6 months away still.
From what I can tell, it was all the same stuff from E3, so...
Yeah. No, that's fair.
But we did check out Dauntless.
Mm-hmm.
It's a PC game.
Yep.
It's not an MMO. Is it? Not really. It's a...
I want to call it a... I mean, the easiest way to say it is it's like a Monster Hunter-esque game.
Yeah, it's a free-to-play action role-playing game.
Yeah.
But basically, it's like a Monster Hunter where you and your party are joining up and taking down
behemoths,
monsters.
Yeah, like big monsters and
behemoths, exactly.
Yeah,
crafting weapons. There isn't classes; it's more your weapon that basically dictates the play style of your character.
Yep,
it's all about the hunt, healing, tracking.
Like, I will say it's unlike Monster Hunter, which if you've played Monster Hunter, there's a real weight and there's a real heft to kind of everything, along with the fact that when you do an attack, you're locked into that attack until you finish it. Dauntless doesn't have that, so you can, halfway through an attack or a series of attacks, you can at least kill those and then roll out or do that. But there is a stamina meter, so like you can't just attack and then expect to be able to dodge or roll or anything like that. But it is very much like we did 2 hunts, and there was, at the time that we played it, there was 4 different classes. There was like a warrior, which was like a sword and a shield. There was a lance character that had like a great big
the pole arm.
Yeah, it's like a big pole arm. I had one that was like chain.
Yeah,
what were they called?
Chain,
it was kind of like Kratos chain blades. Yeah, a little bit
pole
like
arm,
God
chain
of War.
blades, hammer, and sword was what they had.
So
they might have had 5.
Maybe. Well, they said that those were so. For the demo that they were showing off at PAX, those were kind of pre-built characters. Mm-hmm. But they said in the game there's not actually classes. It's all completely equipment-based. So whatever you want to use, you can use. It's up to you. So you can change. So if you decide, like, hey, I don't really like the chain blades, you can easily just grab a different weapon and off to the races you go, which is cool. It was interesting, and like I feel like it's kind of a lot of the stuff that I liked about Monster Hunter with a lot of the stuff that I didn't like missing. So
it's
for
definitely
me,
a little
it was
more streamlined.
Yeah, it didn't feel as, I don't know how to explain it, clunky, heavy.
Yeah, Monster Hunter World is less clunky, but it's more punishing than anything. And Dauntless is a lot more forgiving. It is an open beta, so you can actually go and download it and play it now if you want.
And in fact, we'll have a whole bunch of beta codes that we can give away, and we will be giving away.
Well, they're actually not even beta codes. They're
really?
codes for in the game when you're tracking the monsters. You get a flare,
right?
So it's a PAX symbol flare and a Twitch symbol flare.
Oh, there you go. So if you're interested in the game and you're playing it, then we can hook you up with some sweet signal flares.
Yeah, I've been meaning to put those on Twitter, but
there you go.
I've been recovering from our trip.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it seems cool. I'm gonna download it and play it some more.
Yeah, that's actually one of the few.
And it's free right now, so
that's always a win.
We're always looking for something that we can play, a bunch of us, right? So
yeah, for sure. Did they say, was it max of 4? I mean, I know we were playing in groups of 4,
but I want to say it might have been 5, but maybe it's just 4.
Yeah. Anyways, we both enjoyed it. It is in open beta if you want to go check it out. It's called Dauntless. Yeah. We wandered over to then see Biomutant and Darksiders 3.
Yeah, the
over at the THQ. Yeah.
Youth.
The THQ. Biomutant, that game surprised me. It was kind of in my peripheral, but after playing it, like I really like the feel of that game a lot. It's like a third-person action shooter. You play as this little mousy, squirrely thing. I don't know. He's a mutant, so he changes, or it changes as you play. At the very beginning, you can really adjust like how you want your character to kind of play. Like you can put stats into health or stats into stamina or strength or whatever. So you can kind of build your character off the bat. You can change the look and the like how big they are, how small they are, all that kind of stuff. It's got a whole character creation, which is pretty cool. And then it's like you're locking onto enemies. It's like a third-person action style. You're attacking guys. You've got a melee attack. You've got like a shotgun or a pistol style attack. There was like they had a system where it was like a battery would go down. So instead of having ammo, the battery would have to recharge. So if you shot too many times, you would essentially like kill the battery, and it would have to then recharge after that. There was, as you play, you come across things that then give you mutations, and like there was the one in the demo that they were showing off where you would essentially create like a bubble around yourself, and you could use the bubble to attach enemies onto it, and then
basically like a giant snowball rolling down the hill. You just suck up all the enemies,
and then you could shoot them off afterwards at the press of a button. Or if you wanted, you could use the bubble to like bounce along on the ground, which looks absolutely ridiculous.
Get some more height for some long jumps as well, speed.
Yeah.
I want to say Biomutant was probably one of my favorite games I played the entire show.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. It was so smooth.
It played so good.
It played really well. It's like the shooting. It's like a third-person shooter, melee combat, like RPG.
Yeah, the combat actually was a little bit
but it's fast,
kind of Devil May Cry a little bit almost,
but
like
very fast.
The type of combat, right? Like it felt kind of very Devil May Cry-ish in just the flow and stuff. Like it was quite good, but the character, like he controls really good, and yeah, no, I went from going, what was this, to like, oh shit, when is that going to come out? Because that seems great.
It's one of those games that I saw like a while ago when it was like revealed, and I'm like, that looks cool. And then I forgot about it.
Right.
And then we played it, and I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. It's like a full story campaign. Like, this is like, it's narrated by like a David Attenborough-esque old
it's pretty
English
awesome.
or British man. I don't know. That seems like what the accent was.
It was so
which was
good.
really cool. I got shat out of a monster's ass.
I forgot about that.
And then
that was so good.
And then freaking sat on and was stuffed back in. That was like the boss monster. That wasn't the end of the demo. That was just part of the demo. This giant boss. There's mechs, vehicles.
Yes. Yeah. Oh man. No, they're doing a lot of really cool things in that game. Like seriously, go check it out. Like put that on game on your radar, because I think it deserves to be there.
It's a really cool game. Oh, not to mention the like rocket fist that you have.
Yes, that was like your melee attack is like a big gauntlet hand.
You can do like ground slams with it. You can smash through metal doors.
Yeah, it was great.
Charge it up, and like you can see the boosters like flare up. There's like 3 levels. I think was there like 3 levels or something? Seemed like it. And then just unleash like. It was a cool freaking game, man.
Yeah, now that we're talking about it more, I want to play more of it.
Oh yeah, it's super high on my radar. It's like, I think it's one of my favorite. This is the tough thing. It's like, for most people coming out of PAX, Spider-Man was probably their big game at the Sony booth. And it's like, well, that doesn't apply to us because we had it and we were playing it, right?
Yeah, no, that's true.
And it's like, so it left us open to play so many other cool new things, right?
Oh,
And
definitely.
honestly, I think Biomutant, it seems like it's going to be a hit when it comes out.
It was funny because I went into that
summer next year.
Yeah, they were a little skittish on, like, they were saying like 2019.
Or no, did he say winter?
He said they were shooting for 2019, but he didn't really specify when.
So many people with their cagey answers.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I went into that appointment with THQ Nordic very excited to see Darksiders 3 with a side of Biomutant, and I walked out of that with very excited about Biomutant, and I'm not sure about Darksiders 3 now.
Yeah. So we played Darksiders 3.
Yes. Yes, we
I don't
did.
know if it was the best demo in the world. I enjoyed it because I'm used to difficult third-person combat games like Dark Souls and whatnot, which seems like it borrows a lot from, though it's, a little faster. You're not locked in animation, so it's a little more forgiving. But literally, you fight 3 enemies and then you fight a boss, and you've probably barely got a grasp of the controls at that point, which are a little weird because they put the dodge
on a shoulder button.
Yeah, I was okay with it, but it was the right bumper, or R1 if you're in PlayStation land.
I do want to also point out they had really shitty third-party controllers.
Oh, yeah, they were terrible.
They were not good.
No, the buttons felt really bad.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they did that.
I don't know.
I guess they were wired controllers, maybe just for security's sake.
Yeah, but I mean, lots of other indie devs had Xbox 360 wired controllers, and those were fine.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I will say, the character models looked great.
Yep.
The backgrounds looked like it could have been just a last gen game. Like, yeah, I didn't find, like, when you play Spider-Man or God of War or even Uncharted 4 or even Last of Us, which is a PS3 game, the worlds look so detailed and like flowing with detail. I don't feel like, I felt like the backgrounds in Darksiders 3 were kind of flat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to judge too harshly on the visuals yet, because I feel like we're still a ways off as far as like visually what the game's going to like fully look like. For me, like, I feel like they're probably 80 to 90% there as far as the aesthetic style goes.
Mm-hmm. I thought the controls were good. I didn't mind it, and I liked Fury's range of attacks. For
me, I didn't mind. Oh, how do I even? So there's a few things that I wasn't the biggest fan of. One, there was a small section of the game that you had to play through that had some enemies in it, and then you get into a boss fight, which is a multi-tier boss fight. So you attack, and then you go to like a second stage, and then you go to a third stage of the boss fight, kind of a thing. What bothered me was if you died at any point in those stages of that boss fight, you then, instead of started the boss fight over, you actually had to go all the way back to the beginning of essentially the demo. And like, that's just one of those moves that just feels like, for me, when I'm at home, that's the type of thing. And again, like, we're basing this completely off of like a demo at PAX. Like, I don't know how long that level is. I don't know if like that is the save point in the game, if that was just set there for the demo. Like, I don't know. So, but for me, like, if I was playing a game and I constantly kept having to play through a whole shitload of stuff and then the boss, and then I kept dying to the boss.
Very old school. That's like almost NES style.
It is, but the problem is like, I feel like we're at a point now where, like, for me at least, that just doesn't feel like they appreciate my time. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah. Anyways, so dying and fighting the boss after, yeah, like you said, spending 5 minutes playing the game and trying to get kind of used to the controls felt a little weird. They do say it's a frame perfect dodge, so it's very precise as far as like when you dodge.
And it does the bullet time, or the...
Yeah, it kind of slows down.
It does the witch... What do they call it in Bayonetta? Witch time?
Witch time?
Yeah, like it slows down and you get like some extra powerful attack if you manage to dodge at the precise moment.
You can like counter attack right away. Yeah, I don't know. There's just a few things that I'm not sure about. Like, how's that? I mean, I want that game to be really good, and I feel like the Dark Souls aspects of it creeping in. When another thing, like for example, is when you die, like all of the currency, let's call it, that you've caught up to that point stays there in whatever space. So essentially, if you come back to it and you can get that stuff back in a very, very Dark Souls-esque style. I don't know. I'm hoping that, like I said, I'm really hoping that when the final game comes out, it's a little more like Darksiders and a little less like Dark Souls. But time will tell. We will see. So,
I did like her character. And I
will say they had probably the best cosplayers in that entire show in their booth. Oh my god, they were incredible.
Which led to probably one of your most popular tweets you've ever tweeted.
Yes. By far and away, I think right now. It is still going.
Dane tweeted a picture of one of the cosplayers with these giant, massive... Oh, no, it was two of them, wasn't it?
There was two in the
photo, it was the one of the cosplayers was dressed up as Fury. And the other, I don't know. I think the other one was just an angel from Darksiders.
No, they're both characters. They were both like sisters from the game. Yeah.
Well, I know the one with the whip was Fury. So
yes, that one was Fury,
which is the character of the game. Yeah. Anyway,
it's crazy. I don't know. I expected more. I think it was fine. It played fine. I was okay with the controls and stuff, but I feel like the background seemed kind of bland. But like you said, it is kind of early, so... Yeah. I'm holding off full judgment.
Then we went to Namco Bandai.
We did.
They were showing off Bless Unleashed on the show floor. Did they have anything else, too? I feel like they weren't really showing anything else.
Way to rack my brain. I feel like they were showing a few other things, but that was the big thing they were showing.
Yeah. They're Soul Calibur, right?
Yeah.
And Ace Combat.
They were also showing Ace Combat, Soul Calibur 6.
Which I've played in the past and we've talked about before. Well, I've talked about before.
Jump Force was also them.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about Jump Force. I really don't like the way it looks. I think the Dragon Ball game is a better tag team fighter.
Yeah.
Which just looks
I feel like they're totally
amazing.
Different games, though.
Pardon?
They're totally different games.
They are.
One is a pure fighting game, and one is a weird
3D fighting
arena run around. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
so Bless Unleashed.
We checked out Bless Unleashed.
It's they said it was free to play, right? Or they don't know.
They haven't said what that's going to look like yet.
And it's coming out for Xbox.
This is an Xbox One exclusive.
Exclusive
world
premiere.
So I do want to point out. Excuse me. Stupid yawning. I do want to point out that there is a Bless online. That is an online MMO. But that is a totally different thing than the Xbox 360 game called Bless Unleashed.
But they did say they
talked to them. They explained the reason they kept the name, even though they're two completely different games, is that a lot of the assets from Bless Unleashed came from the Bless Online game. So they didn't want anybody to think that they were trying to pull one over on them by, hey, these characters look the same and this looks the same. And it's like, yes, all of that stuff is the same, but the game itself, like the way the game plays and even the style of the game is quite different.
Mm-hmm.
Did they kind of announce like whether or not it was like an MMO? Like, because we were playing essentially single player aspects of the game, right?
I thought he said it was an MMO.
Again, like I know Bless Online is an MMO, but I don't know if like. So essentially, I played the Berserker and the Ranger. They just had the one sort of demo open where you were kind of walk through, get used to the controls, and then fight kind of a couple waves of enemies, and then it finished with you fighting a big boss at the end. So I played the Berserker first. He was like the character had a giant like hammer / it was like a giant war axe. Sorry, very slow, very deliberate. Kind of wasn't really my jam, actually. I was kind of like, when I played the Berserker, I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of pretty and it looks kind of neat. It controls okay. But again, very slow, very deliberate. It was that very Dark Souls thing where if you started an attack, you were going to follow all the way through on it before it was going to end. And like it was fine for me at that point. I was like, eh.
So, okay, while you were chatting there, and I was totally not listening to you.
Of course.
It is coming to Xbox One first.
Yeah.
And yes, it is free to play.
Okay.
And yes, it is an MMORPG.
There we go.
With epic multiplayer journey.
Sweet. So then I played, after I finished with the Berserker, I actually played the Ranger. And I actually liked that way more. That for me worked. For my play style, that was way better for me. Just being able to like that character moved way better. It was very much you had to stay away. Obviously, it was a ranged character. They had a unique a mechanic where you needed to reload, so you couldn't just shoot arrows till your heart's content. You had to reload, which was actually a bit of a slow thing. So you kind of had to be careful about when you're fighting the boss, not getting your ass handed to you while you're trying to reload after you'd been shooting them a bunch. It was cool. I would definitely consider playing more of that game as a ranger. I know you played the sword and the shield guy, like the warrior, right?
I think it was a defender.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of the class, to be honest. But yeah, I had a sword and shield. And it's kind of fun. It's not kind of funny, but the way it played, like Dane was saying, it was very deliberate. You had your different attack buttons, and as you inputted commands, it would show you the next buttons you could possibly hit to continue your combo or change your combo. So like if you're hitting your X button, you can go X, X, and then the next prompts on the screen would say X and Y, or X and B, so you can change your finisher for the combo. Yeah. So it kind of almost displayed like what options were available to you as you were in the middle of attacking. And it was very deliberate. It did feel a little more slow. But I don't know. It played all right. I enjoyed it. We both beat the boss.
Yeah.
I didn't die when I played through. I thought it looked okay. I think with this being an MMO, it might find an audience, or as a free to play. I mean, if this was like a single player RPG, I think it would maybe do all right. I don't know how well the Bless Online game has done.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it might be dead, to be honest.
Like I said, my understanding of Bless Online is that it was like a Korean RPG that got like a Korean MMO that got translated and brought over. So I don't know how those have gone. Yeah, so it looks like you said, there was the Defender, which you played with the Sword and Shields, Ranger, which I played, the Berserker, which I also played. Then there's also the Priest and the Mage, which were not playable for us. So those are at least the current classes that they're showing as that are going to be available in the final game. So
yeah, different game, same world, similar art style, but totally different games. They're building this
exact art style, actually.
Yeah,
because the assets are actually
they're building this as a console MMO. So specifically, so they're changing a lot of stuff. I thought it was all right.
Yeah,
I think they're aiming. What did he say? The end of the year, early next year for beta.
Yeah,
we got some beta keys, by the way, which I will also at some point give away on Twitter. I forgot all the stuff upstairs. I could have been giving stuff away as we were recording.
Man, I tell you. Yeah, there is a redeem beta key right on their website right now. I'm looking at it. So I don't know if they're doing open beta right now, or if you can redeem a beta key so that when the beta does come out, I'm not sure. So
at this point, we split up because you went to go to an appointment. Yep. And you also went and met your wife and had to deal with some nonsense.
Yes, unfortunately, that was a huge bummer.
So I managed to finagle my way into the Nintendo booth. Magically, they let me in for whatever reason. No one was there. I just said, hey, I just want to get some footage of some of the games. They're like, okay, come on in. And then from there, I just ended up playing all the games in there and basically skipping the whole lineup.
Perfect.
Which was all right.
Lucky for you.
I wasn't planning on it, but I got some off-screen of Diablo. I ended up playing Diablo as well.
Oh, did you? Nice.
That's freaking Diablo.
I would hope so.
On a Switch. And I had
came out in 2012. It better be Diablo.
I had my reservations. I thought it was not going to work. For some reason, I felt like, I don't know, I think this is going to, break the Switch and it'll turn into like a melting brick in your hands.
Did you play the PS3 or the PS4 version of Diablo?
No, I've only played the PC version on a high-end PC. So to me, Diablo looks really cool with tons of crazy lighting effects, particles, and enemies on screen. So to me,
obviously, I played a shitload of it on PC.
Yeah, you played on PS4.
But then my wife, I played it personally. Like the most that I played it was PC, same as you.
PC, sorry.
But I bought it for my wife, and she has been playing shitloads of it on PS4.
Yeah.
And like it runs great. And I'm not gonna lie, like it plays so good with a controller. So when they announced it for the Switch, I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like I could see that. The cool thing about playing it with a controller, is that you can move and attack at the same time, and you can't really do that on PC. Every time you attack on PC, your character stops moving. So it's funny how that actually works. In some ways, it's actually better on a controller, which I never thought I would say about a PC game.
That's blasphemy.
I know.
What have you, Alien? What have you done with my Dane?
Hey, I still prefer mouse and keyboard for that game. That being said, though, I could definitely see how it would work really well with the controller for the Switch.
Yeah.
So,
had I not played Diablo 3 tons on PC, and maybe if my friends all had Switches and wanted to play it, on Switch. I might
You'd
get
consider
it,
picking it up.
but if you've never played it or you really, really like Diablo, you're not going to be disappointed. It was pretty sweet port, I would say. I was impressed.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I played through that demo. I got some off-screen, which I'm going to post at some point here.
Cool.
Speaking of off-screen, I did post some Smash Brothers Ultimate and some SNK Heroines footage on the YouTube channel today.
Nice.
This is a straight unedited video from my phone because I ain't got time to edit that crap. But it looks
Fair
pretty
enough.
good.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving along. Diablo, great. I played more Pokemon Let's Go, but I played the Eevee version.
Right, because you played Pikachu before, right?
Yeah, and they're pretty much identical, except for Pikachu rides on your shoulder,
Right.
and plus you get followed by another Pokemon in your party. Eevee rides on your sits on your head.
It's because Eevee's fucking baller.
Eevee's pretty freaking cute, I must say.
Is Eevee a guy or a girl?
I think it could be either or. Depends on what Eevee you catch.
Perfect.
They come in
Eevee's
both
awesome.
sexes. Same with the Pikachus. So it's the same demo from E3. They had you playing with the Pokeball controller.
Right.
I went in the menus and the guy didn't notice for a little bit and he's like, "Oh, you're not supposed to be in there." And I'm like, "Oh, sorry."
Oh, my bad.
But I don't know. It's baby's first Pokemon, but let's be honest, up until the later generations of Pokemon's always been baby's first RPG. Let's not get ahead of ourselves and think that white and blue or red and blue are this crazy in-depth. Yes, there is amazing depth to Pokemon and the types and the Pokemon and whatnot and the battles.
Right.
When you get super high level, but as an RPG, it's very simple.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love the aesthetic of it. I like the 3D, seeing all these characters in 3D. I think it's great. It's a reimagination. It's a remake of Yellow.
Yeah.
Except for the big thing they've changed is the whole, instead of beating Pokemon down into slavery through fighting, you capture them with the Pokeball.
With the Pokeballs.
With the exact same
Pokemon Go, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just like you're playing Pokemon Go. Exactly. Which kind of makes sense, because why would you beat up the Pokemon? They're in the wild. You just need to catch them.
I don't know, man. They always just beat them. My understanding was always that the Pokemon were too strong to just be caught.
They're just too
so that's
strong.
why you had to beat them up a little bit to
so.
make them weak, so then you could catch them.
Like when there's bears and cougars out in public.
There you go.
They beat them up and then they capture them.
Exactly.
Well, they trank them and then capture them, but I guess
you go.
that would make catching Pokemon way more effective.
Right?
Just
trank
trank
them all.
the fuckers. Anyway, so
trank
that's
balls.
fine. You get experience when you catch them.
Right.
And then, of course, there's the battles, the straight-up Pokemon battles everyone's used to. You got all your moves, 3D, fully rendered, fighting Pokemon battles, which is great.
Did you know that Pokemon is the most lucrative entertainment property ever? Period.
No, I did not know that.
Across all platforms.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Pokemon has made something in the realm of $56 billion since its inception in, what was that, 99 or whatever it is.
I guess
It's
that
made
is a
more
lot.
money as an it has made more money than any other entertainment property has.
I guess one day
More than double Mario.
I guess the Marvel movies will one day maybe pass that.
Maybe.
But they're not in games. This is movies and games. And
This is movies, games,
and
cartoons,
comics, and toys.
Yeah, it's crazy how big Pokemon actually is.
Because Pokemon are awesome. And so are Amiibo.
Fuck, I knew you were going to go there. God damn it. I fucking knew it.
So I did a bunch of... I watched a bunch of stuff. I watched that Unnamed Goose Game. I
That did
watched
look
the
pretty
SNK
funny.
Heroines. I went and watched some more Smash, which we played the first day. I went and watched some more Super Mario Party, which we played the first day. That game looks... I'm really excited for Super Mario Party. And I don't think I've been excited for a Mario Party game since the first one.
Fair enough.
Like, we had a lot of fun, and then watching people
we
play
did.
it more, they were having so much fun. I'm like, this game just seems fun, and all they had you play is 5 little mini games.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a game I could convince my wife to play.
It was a perfect demo.
The challenge that I'm going to have at my house is that I'm going to not have enough controllers to like have people over to play Mario Party. And the Switch controllers are so fucking expensive.
Yeah, and then the Switch controllers are expensive.
Like, you're going to buy a couple more Joy-Cons? Like, oh, even those are like, ooh, it's pretty brutal.
Then what else? What happened? We talked about Spelunky. I went back to the Sony booth,
right?
And did some like looking at stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
I played Falcon Age, which is it's a VR game, but you could also play it in not VR.
Right.
Seems to be it's like a first person adventure game where you have a little Falcon buddy. Which you can get him to help you.
Do you send him off?
Yeah.
And then do you see through him?
No, I don't know. I definitely did not see through him, but you could use him to attack enemies or solve puzzles, open doors, grab stuff.
Interesting.
And then it had like very simple melee combat against like robotic enemies. I think it would be better in VR as a playing the controller like TV version. It seemed very simple.
Right.
It might be a little cooler seeing your pet on your arm in virtual reality. I think it might shine a little better in that format.
Yeah, I can see that.
As a TV dual stick analog controller game, it seemed kind of shallow, or just a little simple.
So kind of like how a lot of VR games feel if you're not playing them in VR.
Yeah. The Falcon was cool, and interacting was cool, and I can imagine it'd be a lot better in VR.
Right.
I ran over... What else? I played some FIFA 19, but there's nothing to say about FIFA. It's just FIFA 19.
It looks nice. Updated
I got my
rosters.
ass kicked by some guy who clearly plays it a lot. Which kind of hurt, because I'm okay at soccer in real life, but that doesn't translate to video games at all.
No.
I did play some Tetris Effect, which was just Tetris, because again, it wasn't the VR version.
Right.
Which I imagine, I think in VR it's the same game, except for all the crazy effects on screen would probably be a lot trippier in VR.
Okay.
But it looks
Fair
like
enough.
an awesome version of freaking Tetris, so...
Sweet. I like Tetris.
And then I ran over to the Indie Mega Booth. Actually, you played this one, but I was just roaming around the Indie Mega Booth and looking at stuff. I played a game called Blood Roots. It's a top-down...
I saw this there.
Is it a beat 'em? It's not really beat 'em up. It's a adventure game, but it's top-down. You pick up any item in the world and essentially can use it as a weapon. But it also kind of has like a timing system to it. So,
is this the one that kind of looked a little bit almost like Hotline Miami?
It was more colorful. It probably looked like a top-down Samurai Jack.
Yeah,
Like
okay. Yeah, this is that one.
Kind of like an anime style. But it was like a top-down adventure game. And you could pick up a piece of wood and then just go beat an enemy down. And it seemed like it was like one-hit kills for most of the enemies. And I don't know what... There was usually a circle that would appear around the enemy, and I don't know what the exact timing mechanic was, but if you timed your attack a certain way, it would zoom into 3D, and you do these totally over-the-top, super violent kills on the enemies.
Oh, nice.
Which was kind of cool.
Right.
Really cool.
Yep.
Meanwhile, you're beating guys with pieces of wood, wheelbarrows, ladders, swords, axes, chopping them in half.
Fair enough.
And yeah, it seemed kind of neat. It has so obviously it's a whole story. It ended with a strange kind of cutscene.
Excellent. That's what I want out of my indie games. Strange cutscenes.
I'm like, that seemed kind of cool. It was violent, fluid.
That was Blood Roots, you said?
Yeah, violent, fluid, top-down action.
Interesting.
And when you
I'll
look
have to
up,
keep that one on my radar.
when you look up blood roots, it brings up a plant.
Perfect. Is it bloody? Is it a bloody plant?
Yeah, I don't know about the plant.
Oh. Never mind then.
Looks like it's on Steam. I don't think it's out yet. No, that's not it. Get out of here. Never mind. Moving along, I played Black Future 88, which
that game
is
looked pretty cool.
A rogue-like 2D shooter. Super neon visuals. Like most roguelikes, you get different mods as you beat bosses.
Right, okay.
That have different plus and minuses, change how the game essentially or your character kind of plays.
Is
You
this
pick up
2-player, like
yeah,
co-op
it's two
style?
player co-op.
Okay.
I don't know if I can't remember if he said there was more. If you could play more than two, it's very super stylish. I would say it's almost kind of like a Contra on freaking cocaine and meth rolled up into some kind of crazy drug ball.
That is quite the image for that game. Although I'm looking at screenshots right now, and like you're not wrong. It's still got like a 16-bit look to it.
Yeah, it's
though.
it's like if 16-bit kept going, but it also has like this cyberpunk. It is cyberpunk. In fact, it is cyberpunk aesthetic going to it, but like a lot of freaky like lighting effects and
yeah, it's weird. It's like the character models and the platforms and things like that are all like kind of 16-bit. But all the lighting and all the like lasers and things like that in the game are all, I don't even know what, like they're definitely not 16-bit, and they have an incredible like glow to them and stuff.
It's co-op. It's a roguelike.
Right.
It's randomized levels.
There's like some platforming, some shooting.
Yeah, platforming. You've got like a dash mechanic, so you can dash through enemies or platforms or whatnot, which obviously makes you invincible.
Right.
There's all kinds of different weapons. There was like 3 different characters, I want to say, which played very differently. There's a whole drug system. Like one of the characters is actually addicted to drugs.
Okay.
And it has like a negative effect, but it also gives you like some positives.
Interesting.
So I don't really understand how that whole drug system like works.
Just hold on a second, man. I gotta.
That you can like
do my drugs.
You get far enough with like that. He was playing that one character, and he's like, "You're no longer addicted." So I guess he played long enough that he lost the negative side effect of that character.
Oh, weird.
So then he was, he got to play with the perk.
Interesting.
The extra perk.
Right.
It was kind of cool. I didn't die. He died. He was the maker of the game, which is kind of funny. You can revive your other partner by giving them life. You have a little life bar. So if someone goes down, you can revive the other character by giving them some of your life.
Right.
It's twin stick. Was it twin stick? Yeah, it was a twin stick shooter. But it didn't have a cursor or anything. He said it had like a very, very generous auto aim when you're shooting at enemies. So they didn't have to put like a cursor on the screen. So you couldn't see where you were like shooting exactly. It was all through feel.
Interesting.
They worked out quite well. I didn't have any problems with it. It worked out surprisingly well. At first I'm like, I'm going to need a cursor. This is going to be a nightmare. And it was actually totally fine.
That's cool. Right on.
Yeah, he didn't, and we beat the demo. And he's like, "Wow, not many people beat the demo." And I'm like, "I'm a boss, bitch." Like,
yeah.
Have you heard of me? I play Castlevania and Dark Souls games in my sleep.
That's more or less true, I think.
So, I think it's cool. It's good. I think it's a ways away though. Still.
Oh, really?
And it's coming to PC.
Okay.
I assume it'll come to everything else eventually.
Right.
I think it's still...
Did he say if they're going to do like an early access or something with it? Or
no, he didn't say. He just said it's coming to Steam.
Okay.
Eventually. Space Hell, which is not its name. is the new game from Vlambeer. Nuclear Throne guys.
Oh, okay. I was like, why does that name sound so familiar?
It's a weird...
I mean, Nuclear Throne was a weird-ass game to begin with.
Nuclear Throne's awesome.
No, it is. It's also a weird game.
Is also weird. So Space Hell is like... That's not its name, by the way.
Okay.
But that's the name.
That's what they're calling it right now.
That's what they had on the show floor. It's kind of... Oh, man. How do you describe this? It's like Space Invaders.
Okay.
With enemies that just continually, randomly pop up in the playfield. And they're like
okay, so instead of coming from the top,
they don't come down. They just appear in the middle of the screen. And the play area is like a square area. As you get to the edges, the walls kind of show up. They're not immediately visible.
Interesting.
And the enemies are continually like spawning like to the music, like beating, sprouting in the middle of the screen in random patterns and whatnot. And they're shooting you, and they look different. They're little aliens. Some of them you shoot, explode. Some of them you shoot, launch bullets. And there's no aiming. It's just move and shoot. You auto-target the closest thing to you.
Oh, okay.
And it's all about, like, score and, like, really frantic, like... It's like a bullet hell at the same time as, like, a rhythm shooter.
Huh.
Which is... It was weird.
That sounds like a game from those dudes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like... Absolutely. If you didn't tell me who made that game and was like just had it in a dark room, it's like, here's this game. Who do you think made this? I probably would have guessed Vlambeer.
Yeah, that's fair.
Especially because of the visual style and the music.
Right on.
So,
look out for the actual name that Space Hell will become.
Yeah. They had no date, no nothing. He just said, "This is our new game." We weren't planning on.
Is he making that entire game on Twitch still, or
because I know he wasn't there. Remy wasn't there.
Oh, okay. I know they were making a game. Like every time they worked on it, they were like streaming it on Twitch, which was pretty interesting.
And then I played Indivisible, which is from the guys who did Skullgirls.
Yes.
It's a action role-playing game.
That game looks amazing.
It's all hand-drawn.
I love the art style of that game.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
It looks
game.
so good.
It's a Metroidvania platformer when traversing the world and the stages. Mm-hmm. And the combat is real-time RPG, which almost feels like a fighting game. You have multiple characters in your party. They said there was like something like 20 plus characters in the game, which are all
even
like,
in the demo you had
like
seven
or
something
yeah.
like that in your
I started with one before you showed up, and
right.
It's each character you unlock represents one of the four main face buttons on the controller.
Right.
So your main character, Ajna, was your square button.
Okay.
And then any other characters you unlock from there on out will become your triangle, your X, and your circle. Right. So if you were to see a screenshot of this game, you would see your character standing in that diamond shape of, the buttons on your controller.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's little timers that fill in underneath your character. You see their health, and then these little circles that show the buttons that correspond to their attacks. Right. And also they fill up, and then when they fill up, you can attack.
Okay.
Now,
and then you also use those to defend, right? Is that how that works? So like,
yes.
So when you were going to get attacked, you would press the corresponding button for the character to defend, but when they were defending, you weren't filling up the meter.
No, it actually drains the little meter for when you're able to attack.
Right.
So, yeah, you'll see a line coming from the enemy. If they say they were going to attack Ajna, there would be a line, and the enemy would go into him. And if I hit square, held down square, I would essentially deflect the majority of the damage of the attack. and drain some of my energy before I can attack.
Right.
Now, as your characters moves are getting ready. For example, you could essentially press all 4 buttons and they'll all run in on the enemy and do their default attack.
Right.
All at the same time. You can modify any of your character's attacks by pushing up or down, which will do different moves.
Right.
Depending on the characters, they do all kinds of different things. Your mage can heal. Your mage can do an AoE.
Right.
Your other character can launch the enemy for a juggle. So if you time it right, say, for example, you have your one character that launches enemies in the air on the X button. Say you press down and X, they launch them in the air. Now I hit my square button, my triangle button, and my circle button, and all 3 of my other characters go and start beating on this guy and essentially air juggle him.
Right.
Which also, depending on what kind of attacks you guys use, you can interrupt the enemy's attacks. And then there is also like a full meter where you charge your energy, which I can't remember what it's called, and you can boost your moves up to 3 levels.
Oh,
so,
nice.
for example, with my main character, level 1, if I hold down R1 and hit square, I'll do her level 1 special move. Now, if I hold down R1 and tap it twice, if I have 2 bars available, it'll do the level 2 and then so forth up to level 3.
Forth, right.
And then they unleash like super crazy freaking moves. Like,
yeah, like watching it almost looks a little bit like a fighting game.
Yeah, it's super fast.
Crossed with an RPG. Like, it's really neat. I want to play a bunch of that, like that, and the art style alone just made me like
it's a beautiful
super want to play it.
Again, like I said, that Steam Skullgirls guys, fantastic art style, fantastic animation. Steam, Switch, PS4, Xbox One.
Right.
Next to Biomutant, this is probably like one of my favoriteest games. Favoritist, is that a word?
Favoritist. Wow. One of your favorite games of the show?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite games we played at the show. I was super hyped when it left. And, like, of course, like the traversal of the game is like a Metroidvania. Like, seriously? Are you kidding me? Dude, it's so unique. And it's so beautiful.
It's super, super cool looking.
Definitely I should put links to these games in the show notes. That would be, like, a good idea.
That probably would be smart.
I'm doing that now that I said it.
Oh, boy.
So... and then we went into a bunch of shit you played.
Yeah. I played Fimble, which was a game being developed by a studio in Denmark, actually. And it's a Viking action sort of RPG-esque style game that the idea is... What if all of the sort of the big Viking lore and some of those crazy stories that everybody thinks are just that they're stories, what if they were real? And it's following along with a character who how do I even describe this? He gets into it with sort of the gods and just the things that are happening in that mythology, and you go on a quest, and it's got a super unique art style, really cool. They managed to make it look really neat, but with not a lot. Like, it's very simple, but it has very cool art style.
It looked really freaking cool.
It plays really well. It's it's attack with these and block with those. Like, it's very much a you pick up armor, you pick up that is one thing that was really interesting was the shield, for example. When you get attacked on the shield, depending on what the enemies attack you with, the shield will sometimes just get destroyed in the attack. So if they're using like an axe or something like that, it can actually be destroyed fairly easily if it's like a wooden shield. So you'll pick up new ones, you'll pick up old ones, like off of enemies, they'll get destroyed. That's pretty cool. As you go, there's more and different armor and stuff that you pick up. It was really neat. Like I said, they were really trying to pull in a lot of the heritage of that Vikings and those stories and things like that, and really roll them into a really unique game. They weren't sure about release. He was kind of saying, like, maybe this winter, maybe early next spring. But it's called Fimble. I think it's going to be really pretty and really cool when it comes out. I don't think it's going to be super long. But hey, that could also change as well. But it sounds like they're trying to launch initially on Steam. He wasn't sure about other platforms, at least right now, but they were definitely working towards the Steam. And yeah, that was like I said. I wish I could remember the name of the studio that was doing that, but it's a small studio in Denmark. So, and then I had an appointment with NIS America, so Nipponichi Software. I can honestly say I saw so much of their stuff. I kind of got the whole rundown of their current and upcoming games for the rest of the year and into mid of next year. A bunch of those I can talk about, and a bunch of them I kind of can't. I'll talk about the games that I got hands-on with, because that'll just make it easier, because I got to see a lot of stuff. Such as Disgaea 1, they're remaking that and re-releasing it as a remaster on the PlayStation 4, which is pretty sweet. But I got to play the SNK 40th Anniversary Collection. The thing that I want to point out with this is, like, when I initially saw this, I was thinking, like, oh, sweet, SNK, I love some of these games. Some of them are really old, from like the late 70s and all through the 80s and into the early 90s. Some of them are, of course, their names are completely escaping me right now. War Dogs. There's a lot of really awesome games. POW is one. So it's a mini game. Like, it's a mini game. It's a collection of some of these older games that they're releasing. I was playing the Switch version of this, so it is obviously coming out to Switch. The thing that I thought was super neat about this collection, though, is that they've managed to actually go back and find some of the old concept art, for example, for some of these games, and just the package as a whole, with the amount of older stuff that they tried to bring forward so that people can see it from an archival perspective. It's fucking rad. As somebody who's like played video games for 30 plus years now, some of that old stuff, it just seems like it kind of gets lost to time. And to see so much of the stuff in this game that they've managed to pull out and do certain things, like, for example, in POW, there was they've just done such a good job of bringing it forward. They've kept it in the 4 and 3. You can also expand it into the 16:9.
Were you playing it with the flip grip?
I wasn't. I was playing with a Pro controller.
Okay. You saw the flip grip there, right?
I did, yeah. We took a look at that. That's pretty cool. For some of those games, that's rad. The flip grip is essentially like it flips the Switch in, what would it be, like portrait mode, and you can use the controller like that with the Joy-Cons. For some of those games, it's really cool. I went into that thinking, like, oh, SNK 40th Anniversary Collection is really neat. I left that thinking that is something that I absolutely have to have, just from an archival perspective. And as a giant video game nerd that I am, I definitely want to see all the stuff that they're doing in that game, because it is, like, really cool. They just seem like they're actually really... they care about some of those games and bringing them forward, which is neat, which is really, really cool. I also played, I'm probably going to murder this, the name for this game, Yomawari. Yomawari. It's
I
called
got
the Long
nothing.
Night Collection. I know. I'm sorry. It's 2 games. They were originally released in Japan on the Vita. They're being re-released for the PlayStation 4 and the Switch. The art style is incredible. So I didn't realize that in Japan, Nipponichi has a thing, and what they do is once a month, anybody in the company, if you're a janitor or if you work in accounting or doesn't matter, if you work for that studio, once a month you can bring your ideas to the board, and essentially you can say, this is my idea for a game. I think it would be really neat. What do you guys think? And sometimes they love the idea, and you end up becoming a game director. And sometimes it's small things, sometimes it's, some of them are a little bigger in scope. And this was a game that, from my understanding, was one of their lead animators came up with. And it's essentially, you're a little girl and you're running around a city searching for... There's 2 games, so I played the first bit of the first one. And it's super cute. It's so beautiful. But it's also horrible. It's a horror game, but you'd never know it. It like, from glancing at the screenshots right off, because it's like very cute, very like anime looking.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there's these like horrible monsters.
Oh god. Like hairy, weird spider things.
Oh yeah, like very, very. They went really hard. They leaned really heavily into the like Japanese mythology with a lot of these monsters. And the idea is that you're a little girl and you have a flashlight, and it's kind of an isometric view, and you're running around the city, and you can't attack the monsters. You can pick up stones and you can throw them to distract the monsters. And some of the monsters you can see, some of the monsters you can't see. It's very, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of stressful. I played a bunch of it, and it's like you'll hide, and then you'll hear the heartbeats. And like as the monsters get further away, like her heartbeat will slow down. And then you'll like come out from the bushes. And the idea is to try and, get around these. The one that I played, the idea is that something happens to your dog, and your sister goes looking for it, and then you go looking for your sister, and then that's kind of how this whole thing starts.
Kind of cool.
It's really neat. It was not on my radar at all.
I found it, and I put a link in the show notes for those interested.
But it is really, really neat.
So whose idea was it? This was the janitors?
No, I believe that was one of the... I believe he said it was one of the lead... Well, I think it was one of the animators from their studio. The next game is called The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince. Is another game actually from that same program. He explained it to me. I don't remember who it was in the company that came up with this one, but really cool too. It was a random kind of looking thing. The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince has like it looks like doodles on a page, kind of
like some child storybook or something. Yeah.
And the idea, like kind of the quick breakdown, is it's like a side-scrolling style game. There's a creature, and it blinds a prince, feels really bad about it, talks to a witch, who then gets the ability to turn into a princess. And the game is then you play as this creature that can transform back and forth between a princess and this creature. We'll call it a wolf. And the idea is like you have to like walk the blind prince through these levels and help him because you feel bad because you blinded him. And And it's like some stuff there's some combat in there, there's some puzzles, so you gotta try and solve where, because the prince is blind, you've kind of got to do everything. It plays really good. It's got a really cool vibe to it. It plays a little bit like a, the name is like right on the tip of my tongue.
Lost Vikings?
No, more like a
Brothers?
2D, so not quite like Brothers. I want to say Inside. Like that sort of similar vibe, if you will.
Except cool game. You're essentially on like an escort mission the whole game.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Played some of that. Didn't get there were so many games to play.
These guys are really doing some different things, that's for sure.
They absolutely are. They're bringing over some really neat stuff from Japan. They're working with a lot of like small indie guys over there. Some bigger stuff. It's really cool. And the last game from them that I played was actually SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy.
Which is kind of funny that you played that, because I posted a video of it without knowing you played it.
Yeah. That game is kind of a little bit stripped down, I guess. It's a 2D fighting game. Very, they've kind of distilled the fighting game down a little bit more. In some ways, it's almost a little bit like a Super Smash Brothers. Like, I was kind of surprised. Like, there's items that show up that you can get. The controls are, heavy attack, light attack, special. You can kind of chain that stuff together. It's a tag team, so you always pick like a couple different characters. They're all the SNK heroines, so they're all the female characters from like the SNK franchises and games. Flows really well. I was playing the Switch version. I'm pretty sure.
I think it's only on Switch.
Yeah. I was playing the Switch version.
I'm not sure about that, but I feel like it's a Switch game only.
Oh, okay.
That's where I saw it, was in the Nintendo booth.
I want to say it might be coming out for PS4 as well.
It might be.
That game, I think, would be a great game, to introduce to people that maybe aren't really into fighting games, just because it's simple but still fun.
It looks cool from when I was watching it in the Nintendo booth.
It's beautiful.
Super
I like
moves
that too.
And
yep. And then and that's the thing is you can. It's not difficult to unload those. Because the controls are a little more simplistic. It's easy to do, but I think there's still that depth there that you still would want to play as a fighting game. So, yeah. And that was kind of like I said, I saw a bunch more stuff from those guys, but those were the games that I actually got hands-on with, so we'll stick with those for now. And then I guess the next day, both you and I played some Torchlight Frontiers.
I didn't play it. You played it.
Oh, you didn't play it?
No.
Okay. I was playing it, so I thought you maybe jumped on another kiosk. If you played Torchlight 1 and 2... I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised. They seem to be really doing a lot of the things properly. It's very much a Torchlight game, but they've also done so there's the open world is multiplayer now, so you'll see other players. There's other players running around, and the only time essentially that you or your party is instanced is when you go into a dungeon. So I played through, did some running around, went into a dungeon, did a few missions inside there. It's still super early. They've said they're going to open up betas down the road, and I don't know if they've announced a release date for this. I don't believe they have. But if you're not aware, Torchlight's kind of a Diablo-esque game. It's an action RPG. You run around, you attack monsters, get gold, get loot.
Give me the loot.
Heck yeah. One of the cool things that the Torchlight games do is you have an animal companion that you can send back to town to sell all your shit, so you don't have to constantly be porting back to town just so that you can empty your sacks all the time, which is kind of neat.
Empty your sacks.
Yeah. Wait, what?
I know, it doesn't even make sense.
Come on, man. That game looks really cool. It sounds like they managed to get some of the guys from the old Runic Studios to kind of help them out and really get that feel down. So it's good. I'm very optimistic about that moving forward. I think it has the potential to be a really fun action RPG. And that was pretty much, I think, all the stuff that we've been playing.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, was there any other thing like really cool that happened in PAX besides like us being there and being awesome?
Cool parties, cool demos, some cool new games we weren't aware of.
Yeah. If you've never been, PAX is pretty rad.
Yeah, it was rad.
Yeah.
I'm so sad it's over. I wish it was still going on.
And I think with that, we could probably slide into our news.
News and stuff.
Pretty light news week, I think, with PAX and Gamescom just ending.
Yeah, everyone's blown their load, so.
Oh, yeah. You pass me a cigarette. That being said, Bioware announces Anthem demo release date.
February 1st, 2018. If you are EA Access or EA Origin member, you're automatically going to have access to it. Or if you pre-order the game before the demo date, you'll also have access as well.
Interesting.
And it's
They're
a
also
demo,
calling this
not
like
a
a
beta.
demo. Yeah. They're saying like this is not a technical test, though the size or content of the demo was not revealed. Interesting. They also said that there will be an undisclosed number of internal alphas and betas between now and February 1st.
That's cool.
Interesting.
I like playing
really
demos and really anticipated games before they come out.
Yeah.
Black Ops. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Blackout mode will support 80 players per match during the beta, which starts next Monday on PS4.
Interesting.
And then I assume the beta will open up to Xbox and PC players on Friday the 14th. So September 10th, if you've got the beta on PS4. Man, I have a beta code for that on PS4. I wonder if I installed that now. If I could. I think I could.
I don't know.
Not that it really
They also
matters.
showed off in a tweet. They also showed off what the map's going to look like, and with the different areas and stuff. Which obviously I can't really show you on a podcast, but that's out there too. You can check that out to see, kind of get an idea of what that thing's going to look like.
Yeah, it sounds neat. Like some of the classic maps stitched together.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
portions,
like there's different
or like
areas,
influence of
new
well-known
towns over here, and like
I think that's kind of cool.
I'm still I'm still trying to figure out how this is going to work, because like generally
Find out next
Black
week.
Ops or Call of Duty is like, you shoot somebody and they're very quick rounds,
Yeah, short time to kill.
yeah, like this. Yeah, I'm very curious how that's going to work in a battle royale style game.
We will find out next week.
Well, you guys will.
I will.
I'm going to be away, but
We'll talk about that.
we will.
Battlefield 5, speaking of battle royales, their battle royale mode is called Firestorm and is supporting 64 players, which is, they already supported 64 players, so it's just their version of battle royale.
I wonder if this is like, so battle royale is
Firestorm.
constructed of 16 teams of 4, which ties up to a total of 64 players per match. Interestingly, the trailer only mentions 4-player squads, which suggests Battlefield's battle royale mode will ignore solo and duo play. This would also explain the weirdness of the 60-player total.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, this also sounds like it's going to have vehicles and other stuff in it as well.
They already had in Battlefield. That's the one thing I don't know. I don't like the scale and the feel of the Battlefield multiplayer game, so I'm not really excited. I'll check it out and try it, of course.
I really don't like it when you have those. If you played a 64-player match, can't say I'm the biggest fan of playing 64-player Battlefield, to be honest. It just feels too chaotic and I don't know. So looks like there's going to be a beta from the 6th to the 11th of September. So there you go.
What?
That's just for Battlefield 5's open beta. Becomes available for players who pre-order the game. The rest of us, Rabble, can access the beta from the 6th to the 11th of September.
That's like when this podcast comes out.
There you go.
I have to check that out. Too many games, too little time. God damn it.
Yep.
Man, we got a lot of good shit coming.
Yeah,
We've already had such amazing stuff. Man, you guys still haven't even played Spider-Man. That's the crazy thing. This podcast and my review are still out before the game comes out on Friday. So if you're listening to this on Thursday when it releases or the Friday, you still might not even have Spider-Man in your nice little hands. Netflix has announced that they have cast Henry Cavill. Is it Henry Cavill?
Henry Cavill
as Geralt.
Superman. The guy that plays Superman.
Superman is Geralt of Rivia. Geralt
of Rivia.
Yeah.
Geralt.
I think that's not a bad casting. I don't know. I like him.
I've seen some stuff going around where they've given him a beard and kind of made him look a little more like Geralt, and I think it could work.
The IGN story does not show that.
Yeah.
I should try and find that image because that sounds kind of cool. They show a pretty gruff picture in the top of the story. I'm like, I could see it in makeup, white hair.
Yeah. He's also a fan of the books. He's read he's played the games and he's read the books. So I mean, that kind of, I feel like as somebody who's got to play those characters, the fact that he's actually paid attention and been a part of kind of that world already, I already feel like he's ahead of the curve. I feel like so many times actors try to play a character that they know nothing about. So I think that's kind of cool. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that sometimes you think people who aren't going to be great turn out to be awesome, and sometimes people who you thought were going to be great in something turn out kind of shitty. So I feel like this could work. So
I really liked him in the Mission Impossible.
Yeah, he was really great.
And the man, what is the man from Uncle?
Oh, he was so good in that too.
Yeah, so see, that
was a really good movie.
I think he will make a fine Geralt of Rivia.
Yeah.
Then he gets to have sex with all the chicks.
I mean, Geralt does do that.
Yep.
A lot. On unicorns.
Man, I want to play Witcher 3 again. God damn it, that's a good game.
Yeah, it is.
So that's our gigantic news section. Like we said,
we're a little light on news this week.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot. There was some stuff. There's a Nintendo Direct tomorrow. Well, guess what? That happens after we record, so we can't say anything about it. So it's kind of pointless to talk about. We got all the games with Gold and PlayStation Plus announcements. Spider-Man's launching. Then Tomb Raider. Man, all the bombs are dropping.
Yep.
I think, what is TGS in a week or two? So we'll probably get another news bump then. And then, and then Paris Games Week in, I think, October.
Is that in October now?
Yeah. I think it's always been October. I don't know. I'm just assuming.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have
Sony last year dropped a ton of stuff at Paris Games Week.
Yeah.
So.
And then I assume we're going to have PSX again, which hasn't been announced yet, but I assume they'll do it again. So, with that, I guess we can get into our free-for-all section.
Yeah.
You've been watching American Gods. That's Amazon Prime. Is that right?
Yeah, Amazon Prime. We actually finished
exclusive.
It is. It is exclusive to them. Amazon Prime only.
I have not watched American Gods.
It's fucking awesome. It is so good. My wife and I just finished it actually earlier tonight before we recorded. Season 1, I mean. And that show's awesome. Like, I will say right now, it's definitely not for everyone. The entire premise of the show is that there is old gods and new gods, and they're real. That there's essentially anything that people quote unquote worship.
Are they just around in like the modern times?
Yep.
Oh.
So like the idea is like one of the new gods, for example, would be like a god that kind of like represented the internet, or like cell phones. So like the idea being, it's based on a Neil Gaiman book. And in all honesty, I'm trying to figure out the best way to like describe this series for people that haven't heard about it or are curious about it. And it's so hard to describe. Honestly, it is. It's very visceral. I won't lie. It is definitely a hard R. There's some pretty gnarly.
All the screenshots I've seen are always like drenched in blood.
There's some pretty intense moments. Surprisingly, not a ton of like violence and stuff in the show. At least not this season. A lot of build up, a lot of like stuff going on. But the premise is that essentially gods are real and people don't necessarily realize it. And there is old gods and new gods, and the idea is kind of like that the old gods are a little bit annoyed with the new gods, and there may or may not be like a little something happening and brewing underneath the surface. And it kind of follows this one character called Shadow Moon, who he loses like everything. He ends up in jail, and like some stuff happens, and he's in a horrible spot, and he ends up coming across, or he bumps into this god, essentially. He doesn't realize it, of course, and the god offers him an opportunity to work for him. And he, of course, being where he is in his life at that moment, is like, fuck it, sure, I'll work for you, why not? And so he starts tagging along, and the story kind of starts unfolding, and it shows it from multiple angles as far as like kind of what's going on, and like and initially like there's some crazy shit that starts to happen, and he kind of doesn't like seem to realize or even believe that what's going on is real, and then he sort of starts to realize like, holy shit, wait a second, like I'm dealing with like these are gods, and like there's powers and stuff, and like it's a cool show. Like that's really all I gotta say. It's rad. My wife and I both, like, we cruise through it and we're like, hell yeah. I know there's a second season that is already in the works. So yeah, so we're both pretty stoked about like that coming out. So if you're not squeamish or too, I mean, I could definitely see that show upsetting some people that are fairly heavily religious. So, keep that in mind if you're, but like I said, it is rated R. It is an 18A or whatever. So, use that as you may. But I'm a big fan. So
I wanted to check it out when I first saw photos of it. I'm like, oh, this looks cool because it's got some cool actors in it.
Dude, the main actor, the guy that plays Shadow Moon, I've never seen him in anything before, but I really hope I see him in more stuff because he's freaking rad.
Oh, I'm sure
he's awesome. It was funny. My wife and I were both talking, and I didn't realize he plays an American in this show, but apparently he's actually British, and like he would make an absolutely killer James Bond.
I knew that's what you were going to say. You didn't even have to say it. As soon as
he would be amazing.
As soon as you started talking, I'm like, I know where he's going.
Yeah. So, yeah. Like I said, check it out. It's cool.
With the chaos of PAX, I had some packages arrive before I left, but I couldn't deal with them. We all know I'm an idiot.
By deal with them, you mean like rip them open, document them, and post the photos on the internet?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So we all know I'm an idiot, and I buy stupid things that I don't really need because that's what I do. Because that's me.
That's what you do.
Of course, the allure of a super limited edition PS4 Pro got my attention, and of course, I caught myself one of those 500 million limited edition PS4 Pros.
Is it everything you hoped it would be?
And I didn't get to deal with it or open it until today.
Oh, man.
Actually, as we speak, it's still copying the contents. I was going to start clean, and then I'm like, oh, man, that'll probably take forever and destroy my bandwidth data cap, and I don't want to go over. Even though I have a terabyte, I don't really want to download 2 terabytes of stuff.
You have data caps?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Really?
On my home, yeah. I believe it's a terabyte. It might be 2. It's a minimum of 1 terabyte.
Huh. Okay. Anyways, sorry.
Or it might be unlimited for the plan.
I'm surprised because, like,
I don't know.
I mean, I just paid to not have it, but I just figured, you being who you are and who you work for, I figured that would just be.
I don't need unlimited because I don't download anything. But
I find just downloading multiple games in a month can push me almost between downloading a bunch of games in a month and watching Netflix and just regular usage. I find like before I didn't have a data cap, I went over multiple times. So
yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting though. But anyways, sorry.
I might have unlimited on the new package I'm on, but I didn't freaking check it.
Okay. Moving on. Sorry.
Moving along, I got a 500 million limited edition PS4 Pro, and my God, that thing is beautiful.
Yeah, it's everything.
Pictures do not do it justice.
Yeah,
it looks so freaking awesome. It's that clear dark blue.
Right.
It's so dark, like it's like navy blue, like so it doesn't stand out like this cheap looking clear thing. It's this mirror candy shiny super sleek looking dark blue, and
it's
with the little
sexy with you like to touch it.
With the little gold accents on it.
Yeah,
the controller's pretty. And like I said, the photos do not do this system justice at all. And the way the light glows in it looks so freaking cool. I got my...
But it is a PS4 Pro.
Yeah, it's Pro.
With a 2 terabyte hard drive.
Yeah,
right?
so it's also upgraded. And it comes with a camera as well. A matching blue camera.
The camera's blue? Has it got like cool plaques on it and shit too? Or
no, it's just blue. I left it in the box because I already have my black one. That I'm not going to reroute cables just to have a blue matching camera. I got number 33,137. Not that it really matters. But it's sexy.
Fair enough.
So if any of y'all are in the market for a PS4 Pro, let me know because I'm going to be flipping my old one.
Fair enough. This has been your Craigslist Minute with Rico.
And then that's it for Free For All. And we've got a question, comment, concern. Comments, questions, and concerns. A CQC section from our Discord channel.
Oh, yes.
I said we would talk about that this week.
Okay.
We skipped over it a couple weeks ago.
Right.
The whole Twitch Prime, Amazon pre-order
stuff.
Bonus stuff going bye-bye in the US and also in Canada.
Right.
So, I guess it started in the US with Best Buy getting rid of the Gamers Club Unlocked. I think that's what they called it.
Yeah.
We never had that here, which really pissed me off because I buy most of my stuff from Best Buy. And in the past, our reward program was Reward Zone. And depending on certain games you bought, you would get $10. You would get enough points that would work out to a $10 Reward Zone certificate. So that was the best deal you had going. It's like, okay, you buy 8 games, you get a free game, basically.
Right, okay.
That was our best bet. And sometimes they had like really cool E3 promotions where you get $20, or I think even once it was $25 or even $30 worth of points for pre-ordering.
Right, okay.
I remember that year I made out like a bandit and had like a couple $100 worth of certificates in the winter, you know, especially with all the crazy releases that come out, right? And that went bye-bye. And then we had Amazon Prime and the 20% pre-order discount, which was, I think it's the same as the US one.
I believe you are correct.
So, but then they changed that on us months ago to 10%.
Right.
And then now it's just gone, just like the US. And just like Gamers Club Unlocked has been canned, the Amazon Prime discount's been canned in the US, though.
Well, I know in the US they're changing it. So what they're doing in the US is that you get $10 in Amazon Prime bucks. Now. Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's still not great, but at least
it's not as good as the
helpful.
20%. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, the other half of this essentially is that ads are coming back to Twitch Prime members. So like right now, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you also get Twitch Prime as part of your Amazon Prime subscription, along with Amazon Prime TV and so on and so forth. So before, because you were a Twitch, because you had Amazon Prime, with Twitch, you no longer had to watch ads because you were essentially a paying Twitch member. They have said since that ads are coming back to Twitch for Prime members, just because I guess they can. So Brian was wondering, does that make Mixer any more enticing now?
Guy, man. He didn't say to use his name. God damn it.
I only used his first name, bro. Only used his first name. There's a lot of Brians out there. I don't know if you know that or not.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Let that slide.
And he's saying that he's been watching more and more streams over there versus Twitch. Because at least right now, I guess there's not. I don't know if there's not as many or if there's not any ads. I'm not entirely sure. To be totally fair, I haven't watched a ton on Mixer.
I use an ad blocker, so I don't know.
Fair enough.
So I've never seen ads on Twitch ever.
So my understanding was this was the ads that played like before before the streams and stuff like that, or during the streams.
Still don't see them.
You will see them if you are running an ad blocker now, because your stream will just pause and you'll get to watch the ad.
I don't watch a lot of Twitch to begin with, but yeah, it's like a 1-2 punch. Like,
right,
you lost your discount, and then now you lost your ad-free viewing. Mm-hmm. You can still get it on one channel of choice, but it's like they're really
right. So so that's what they're saying, is they're still saying like they're doing a similar thing with like your subscription, where like with your Amazon Prime subscription, you get one Twitch subscription that you can gift so that you can subscribe to one channel per month. And they're doing a similar thing with this, where you can say like, I want to not watch ads on this particular channel. But I mean, personally, like I'm kind of with Rick on this. I don't watch a ton of Twitch anymore. I just don't have the time. I can't really watch Twitch at work. It just doesn't really work for me. And so like when I'm at home,
the only time I ever watch Twitch is if I'm watching some like Nintendo Direct or the Game Awards or like some big event thing.
Yeah, or I'm watching.
I don't
like
ever watch random streamers. Like never.
Yeah, or if it's something like Stacy, who's doing like some really cool cooking things on their channel, you know, that type of stuff. I'll check out sometimes, but it's like I don't watch a ton of streamers anymore. I just don't have the time. Yeah. So personally, this isn't going to really do like much for me. Like it's not going to really affect me too much.
It would annoy me though if I did.
Yes,
it would definitely make me consider why I have Amazon Prime. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, in our instance, we have it because of the discount on diapers and some of the home stuff that we get. Right. So I don't see us. We never had Prime for Twitch, the ads or the gaming discount. That was a nice perk that I took advantage of, and it did make Amazon my de facto pre-order place.
Right.
Games are 20% cheaper there. There's no competition, and they actually got games usually on release date to my house.
Right.
So
which
like Best Buy lost all my business. EB hasn't had the only thing I ever get at EB is hardware.
Right.
And that's like and amiibos, and that's like last ditch effort. Like if I can't get it anywhere else.
If you can't get it anywhere else. Yeah. So
it does suck. Like basically it's pretty much full price everywhere.
Yeah. For me, that stuff was all bonus stuff for Amazon Prime. Like just the fact that I get free shipping and the Amazon Prime TV stuff, that right there for me is enough value.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything else outside of that, for me is a bonus. Like,
for me personally, if we didn't do the household shopping stuff, I don't think we would have Prime. We don't watch the video stuff, and for me,
you should. There's some good shit on there.
Barely have enough. I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah,
I want to. I don't know. It's games or nothing.
I know. So that's kind of how I am with.
I probably would have canceled my Amazon Prime personally.
Yeah,
and I'm really upset, me personally, that no one has a good program. Because, like I said, I used to go to EB because before there was no benefit buying games anywhere. My friend managed the place,
right?
And then we got to the online era, and then Best Buy was very aggressive with their discounts, and their rewards stacking certificates worked out really well for a couple of years. Uh-huh. And then Prime stole all their business for the last year or two that they've been doing the 20%. And now it's just now I don't know where to go. Like, no one has a better deal than the other guy, unless it's an older title. So it's just I just kind of.
The lesson here that I'm hearing is just don't bother pre-ordering games.
No, but it was worth it when you're getting 20% off. And
totally.
It'll be a sorely missed perk. And I think it's a dumb move, but I guess when no one else is doing it.
If you don't have any competition, what's the point?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm wondering if it's the margins, the fact that Best Buy stopped doing it.
I mean, the margins were already
I know they were short. I know they were small, and they were probably losing money. And they were hoping you were picking up something else while you were there. Cause,
that would be my guess.
But, or is it the publishers that, you know what? We're not. Maybe the publishers gave them additional discounts to accommodate those pre-order programs? I don't know.
Right.
I'm not involved. So it's interesting to know why. I guess, obviously, the easiest thing is that Best Buy got rid of it. And then Amazon's like, well, if they ain't doing it, we ain't got to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I feel like we're in such a weird spot with video game store stuff, retail outlets, because I think so much of that is going digital now, and even you go into EB, I feel like every time I go into an EB, there's less and less video games and just more and more Funko Pop and merchandise and stuff.
Half the store,
it's turning into Think Geek more than anything, which, I mean, isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just that when I think of going in there to grab something, it's becoming less and less, because it just seems like every time I do, they have less and less stuff that I actually want. It's all just merchandise and geek stuff, which, again, is fine, but it's just not what I'm looking for when I go in there. Right?
I can just get online easy enough anywhere.
That's the thing, right? So, yeah,
I think to me personally, I think it's the dumbest move for Best Buy. I think they're the one who's going to pay the biggest price because that's what got me dealing with them and into their stores. And now I have really no reason.
Yeah. I mean, I have a Best Buy within walking distance of my house, and I rarely go in there.
But still, like, if they don't give you a discount, you can get the stuff shipped for free at home or your work, and you don't have to leave the house. So it's like...
It's true.
What's the reason? I don't know. Yeah, it sucks, and I'm not happy about it. And someone needs to step up and come up with a dope-ass program to give us discounts, because I need to save some money on my video game habit.
Yeah.
And then I had another question from Zutrong. Spider-Man or God of War for your game of the year? I basically said it's coin flip, and I wouldn't be upset with either result. But
we also have Red Dead coming out later this year.
I was going to get there. They are both very good games. They're both very different games. Very different stories, very different morals, very different journeys. Both super fulfilling, both fantastic. Like, I said God of War is a 10 out of 10 as well. And that is an amazing cinematic, powerful journey. Like I said, that game's like top 5. And Spider-Man's up there too. I'm going to have to do some rearranging of my top 5, top 10 list. This year has been ridiculous. So I wouldn't be upset with either one. I'd be like, yep, yeah, I'm good with that. But we do still have Shadow.
I mean, I think the year's not over. That's the way I got to look at it.
We have Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We have Red Dead Redemption 2. We have Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. We have Smash Brothers.
Pokemon.
We have the new Amiibos. No, just kidding.
Oh, fucking you and your Amiibos. Get out of here with that crap.
Yeah, honestly, seriously, I think the only thing that is going to give a run for the money for the rest of the year is definitely going to be Red Dead.
Right.
But right now, it's a solid tie. I know it's cheap, and that's like lame, but right now they're very different games, so
yeah,
this is going to be a hard decision I'll have to make in a couple of months.
That's fair.
And the one thing I will say is that Spider-Man does have like a bunch of DLC coming too, so
yeah,
which could bump stuff in its favor, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Dane,
yo,
I'm going to say that we have a show.
I think you're right.
Episode 172, the PAX Extravaganza Part 2. And Spider-Man impression / review.
Yeah.
With a little sprinkling of news. Is in your ear holes and in the gigabits and on the internet. You can follow me on Twitter at RickF, no K, RICF.
You can always come bug me on Twitter at Dane Cody, at DAYNECODY.
Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, whatever. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTubes. It's Geekoholics everywhere. Really easy to find us. And, if you're really bored, check out my written Spider-Man review. That'd be cool. He did
write it all by himself.
Yeah, I did write it all by myself. And I didn't plagiarize off nobody. It all came from this dumb skull right up here.
Oh, boy.
All that poor writing and long sentences and wrong.
Perfect.
That's all me.
Wonderful.
So, anyway, it was fun. I enjoyed it. So, yeah, I don't know. If you're bored, check it out. Geekoholics.com. Sure. It's not hard to find.
Nope.
And, yeah, if you are listening to us on an Apple device, Apple Podcasts, or iTunes, if you could please leave us a review, that'd be great. Positive reviews help us with the logarithms of life. More importantly, the internet and podcast charts, which helps the podcast grow. And again, we had some more growth in August. It was our biggest month to date, which is nice.
Yay, we love you.
Slowly crawling up there, which is fantastic. And yeah, man, PAX was dope.
Heck yeah.
Getting to see Brian at PAX was nice. It's too bad he couldn't spend more time there. We might housekeeping. We might not have a show next week.
Yeah, because I'm going to be away.
Going to be in Las Vegas, winning us lots of money.
Technically, I'm actually going to be in the Grand Canyon next Wednesday.
Well, but you're also going to Las Vegas.
I am.
Winning us lots of money.
Got to go to StacyCon next weekend.
Yay, StacyCon.
Actually, the weekend after that.
Actually, it was really nice to see them too at PAX. That was fun. Mike and Stacy hanging out with them. Like, hung out with them almost like every other night at least.
Yeah, it was great. Love seeing those guys. It's so much fun.
Meeting some of their crew. They were nice guys too. Until next week, we are out.
Go buy Spider-Man.
Yeah, do it. Absolutely. Peace.